Hello and welcome back to Wake Up Our Faith in Business. This is the second half of our show where we talk about how you effectively live out your faith, where you spend the majority of your time, and for most folks that is in business. My name is Matt Ham. This is Kevin Adams, and we are the co-founders of uPrint, a faith and personal development organization based right here in Wilmington. Kev, I just want to start by saying, man, I am so overjoyed at just how God continues to kind of pave the way for the work that we are doing here in the city. Bring people that are hungry and willing to step into kind of what it looks like between Sundays to really live out your faith, man. I'm just I'm bubbling with just like excitement. You have to calm me down.
Yeah, it's good. He's definitely given us a good crop of future leaders, people that are getting to that place in life where they're ready for more, and they're hungry, and they've got some wisdom, a little bit of wisdom, and kind of growing through it. So, the dots are starting to connect, and it's really refreshing. For all the hard work. Yeah,
it's super cool. For those who have not already signed up, I want to let you know that we do have some seats still available for a Faith in Business gathering on August 15th. That is live and local right here in Wilmington at Waterman's Brewing. There'll be a link below where you guys can sign up if you haven't already. Mm-hmm. We're over 50% full there and expect us to be completely sold out. It's free, but the seats are accounted for.
Yeah, jump into that if you're nearby and help us kick that off. That's going to be exciting, especially when you look out a little ways.
Yeah. Our corporate partners make this show possible, and they're actually a part of what we do comprehensively as a ministry. They help us provide for those in need and spend time with folks in need. So it's more than just, kind of letting you know about them on the show. It's really about coming together as a community to change the city.
Yeah.
And we're thankful for them. One of those being Melissa, the coach. Melissa is a speaker and personal finance coach who helps people live the life that they were called to by managing money the way that God intended. She's fantastic. You can connect with her online at Melissa the Coach or email melissathecoach@gmail.com. Many thanks to Melissa. She's going to be at the event for sure for anybody who wants to connect with her.
Great.
So today, Kev, we're diving into this construct or this concept of provision preceding vision. Or excuse me, vision preceding provision. How do we write it down?
Make sure I get it right. You never have provision without vision.
There you go.
And that our the worldly, the broken human nature, even we still live in this environment. We're not of it anymore, but we live in it. Always wants to default back to walking and living by sight or the five senses. Same thing. And learning to overcome that takes practice. It's like a spiritual chiropractic adjustment. But there's no argument here. God says walk by faith. Well, that's a powerful thing. It's not just something you put on your mirror and quote
right.
and try to do the hard jump into. It's about yielding to it. So anyway, vision, you don't get the provision. You don't get the seeds. God wants you to dream it up because He knows what's already in there. And if He can get the strongholds off of you, the gunk, and get you restored and healed to a place emotionally and from your heart and spiritually, then He's ready for you. You're trustworthy enough at some point to start tapping into the dream that He's already put there.
Yeah.
So He's it's His farm, it's His crop, and we're the seed in a sense. So when you look at it that way, if you've got to go there with Him, and then everything will begin to line up. Seek first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and what will be added?
All these things.
All. If all means all, Yeah. So, but because we think we live by our own will, our willpower and determination and logic, we get in that Greek linear chronologic mindset, which isn't bad. It just doesn't need to lead us. And what happens is we think we've got to have the money before we or the resources before we can create the vision and dream it up. It's backwards.
One of the powerful kind of concepts that I think we put out there in mentoring, you don't use this every time, but you've said it to me before, is, hey, if someone wrote you a $2 million check, what would you do?
Yeah.
And it's really taking away this kind of clamoring for money, clamoring for provision.
Right.
And it sets you on a course to say, let's remove the obstacle that you are currently focusing on.
That's right.
And then kind of purpose your focus toward what he's saying to you. That's a powerful concept. Kind of walk through with the viewers, listeners, about what that looks like, and maybe somewhere that they can start, unpacking this box.
Sure. Well, we because of the logic default in human nature, we want to make everything about our effort. We want everything to be about us, and we can do it very casually or very intensely, but it's just kind of where we are till we learn not to. It's like a kid being a brat if you give them everything. So you've got to unseat what the enemy is trying to do, and but that's a different animal than trying to work through it. It's not about effort or labor. It's about yielding. It's about surrendering. What are you surrendering? Your will. So from a day-to-day perspective, we talked about using meditation. Now, when you do this in a business context, look at what happens is people talk themselves out of it, right? So the reason we say, why do you want to wake up and experience every day is because you have to press down, because there's all these different excuses.
Yeah, buts.
But exactly. And I can't do this while that. So you got to get rid of all that. So you have to let go of everything. It's not about losing everything. It's about momentarily. It's flight simulation.
Yeah.
We said that earlier. It's like you've got to go into the flight simulator. You've got to be there. So we create environments to think about, just as a catalyst to go to this place. And then God will start opening up things for you. So you don't have to stress over it. It's not labor. It's more about stepping into His personality, knowing that He's going to come and meet you there.
Yeah.
That's what meditation is. You don't have to. You get an idea, and you think of it as putting the puzzle box on the counter.
I love this, yeah.
And you don't do a puzzle without a box typically. I mean, you might. It's extra hard. But God goes back through your life and grabs those pieces throughout your life, and then He starts giving them to you, and then you kind of know where they go. Now, this happened to me when I was a kid, but I understand it now. That makes sense. And so you start putting all these things together, and that's what we help people walk through that. But when you engage that in a context of where you spend the most time in the business world, there's a lot of different obstacles. That there's people saying things to you like, well, you have to do it this way, or you need to engage this type of sales strategy or marketing. I was talking to somebody yesterday, and they were beating themselves up about not doing enough social media. I'm like,
how much stress that creates.
Yeah. So meditation unseats a lot of these things that even in a business environment, I mean, you want to honor your company if you're working for someone and all that, but you don't have to do everything their way. God will show you how to do that. But you have a spot. You have a place. There's a vacancy in history with your name on it. So you have to take light into any situation.
Yeah.
You have to unseat those values that aren't from Him.
Sure. And that goes back to the simple construct of like, what is navigating your life? Is it the Holy Spirit and that time with the Father leading you, or what your boss or your neighbor or people say? And the thing that's hit me recently, Kevin, is I go on social media, and I say this from a pure heart. I see so many people trying so hard.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't work.
They're trying so hard.
Right.
And again, Facebook ads are not bad. You know what I mean? Social media posts are not bad. It's not a condemnation against a system.
Yeah.
But it's all predicated
Right.
on effort and my knowledge and my strength subtly.
Right. That's
instead of just going like, I am a child
Yeah.
of the living God.
That's right.
And He is my provider.
Yeah, well, it's like saying, did you hear? I love God. I love God. Did you know that? I love God. Everybody needs to know I love God. Well, that starts to sound kind of icky at some point, right? Because it's about me, and how much I love Him. What we need to be doing is giving Him the credit. He loves us. He made us. He's doing this. It's the movie. Get your popcorn, go to the front row, and watch it. Quit trying to direct it and all that. You don't have to. You don't have to. Just follow. This is what following Jesus is. It's His yoke is easy. You know, His burden is light. It's good.
Yeah.
It's good. But people think it's boxing them in. It's not doing that at all. But stepping into a vision for your life, and also for the context of your business life, the week. A lot of people do the Sunday thing. They go back into the week and they kind of forget it all because they go, yeah, but that was over here. Mm-hmm. They kind of compartmentalize it. Well, compartmentalization is the beginning of that is okay, but the end of that is psychopathic behavior.
Yeah.
Psychopaths are the best compartmentalizers there are.
Yes.
So if you start doing that, remember, there's not a good end in that. So you don't want to live in compartments. We're not trying to balance grace and truth. They're all of God. So you want to live your life. A flower doesn't have compartments. Well, over here I'm going to be in the shade, and over there I'm going to be in the sunny. It doesn't work that way.
I love your flower voice.
You like that?
It was good.
Yeah.
I thought the flower might talk more like Kennedy.
Mel. We choose to go to the moon.
What if a flower talked like John F. Kennedy? That'd be funny.
Oh God.
That's a skit. That's a skit waiting to happen.
Yeah. Well, but let's just. So what is vision? Meditation and vision in business. What is vision? Well, it's a glimpse of God's viewpoint, and you don't see the whole thing. That's why it's like a puzzle piece. So you don't get overwhelmed if you're not seeing the whole thing. And a lot of people I work with they're phenomenal people, and they have such potential. A lot of times it's just impatient. Well, maybe I need to do this. Well, immediately something doesn't happen. So, well, maybe I need to do this. And it's like pendulum back and forth. You see that old Peter thing where he's ready to kill for Jesus, but he would never die for him. Over here 5 minutes later, or, wash. You'll never wash my feet, or wash my whole body. I mean, it's people do that, but a lot of that isn't lack of faith. It's just impatience to get to. God gives you small doses.
Yeah.
Because He's training you. He's slow and deep. He's gentle. He's a good father.
I love what one of the things that we sent out in the Portable Faith community, which for those that are new to this, the Portable Faith community is a resource, a service that we've created to be able to walk with folks on a daily, consistent basis, where we send out kind of a powerful thought for the day. We encourage folks to meditate on it throughout the day, and then those resources are utilized to go in turn bless others.
Right.
And so folks can check that out on the site at uprint.life. Or reach out to us at info@uprint.life.
And all that helps support our Life Center work and just helping a lot of people remove obstacles from their life. Is this our last segment? Or
No. We got another.
Oh, good.
I was just mentioning that because I wanted to mention.
No, that's cool. I want to dig into some more stuff here.
So you've said this before, Kevin, in one of the texts that we send out is faith without God's perspective is limited to ours.
Yeah.
Did I hit that right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's right. And these are the kind of things that they're just pulling the antenna up on the Scripture. They help you kind of think differently, get a new perspective, because people are so now in a world of they're not listening. You say one thing like the word blessing or grace, and they think they know. So they don't. There's a lot of assumptions going on.
Yeah.
So this gets up under that, just like Jesus talking in parables, it unearths it.
Yeah.
But as far as what you just said, yeah.
It's powerful to invite God's perspective into your life rather than resting on your own, and that's where we need a shift in how we're navigating each and every day. But guys, we're going to take a short break here on Wake Up Our Faith in Business. Matt Ham and Kevin Adams, don't go anywhere. We do have one more segment. We'll be right back after this. Hello and welcome back to Wake Up Our Faith in Business. This is the second half of our weekly broadcast where we talk about how you effectively live out your faith, where you spend the majority of your time. Matt Ham, Kevin Adams with you every week. Appreciate those of you who are tuning in live streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and also now on LinkedIn. We invite you guys to connect with us by leaving a comment below, sharing this out of your communities, or sending us an email, info at uprent.life. Our corporate partners are really kind of part of our team here. They make this show possible. They also foster the work that we're doing here in this community. We want to recognize them. One of those being the Honeycutt Group, an insurance brokerage organization based right here in Wilmington. Chad and his team are happy to provide you with any insurance needs you have. You can call them at 910-338-1773. Also, our good friend Chris Riley and his team at Fountain Financial Associates. They help clients and families pursue a better life, and they're in the business of keeping promises. If you have any needs in regards to financial planning, make sure you reach out to Chris Riley, the team at Fountain Financial Associates, 910-256-8882. And also Freeman Landscaping, Southeastern North Carolina's largest landscaping and irrigation firm, family owned and operated. These folks are fantastic. If you have any needs there, make sure you reach out to them, 910-796-1166. So Kev, today, kind of our last segment here, we're talking about resting in a vision that God has for your life, His perspective, instead of striving to figure it out and how and all this kind of crazy stuff that we get lost in.
I just thought it was funny that you were saying Southeastern North Carolina, or Northeastern South Carolina, or Western sizzling.
Southeastern North Carolina, Northeastern South Carolina they'd be neighbors.
What's that place on the border down there by Myrtle Beach? It's like south of the border.
South of the border's on 95.
Oh,
that's in Dillon.
What is that place?
Pedro, man. It's Pedro's truck stop.
I've seen it all these years, man. I've never been, but
don't go. No offense to south of the border, but it could be quite a dangerous place.
Oh, okay.
There's I remember as a kid driving, because my dad was from Florence, South Carolina. So we'd go back for family reunions, and there was a hotel there that I promise you was used in horror films.
Like El Scorpion?
Yes. It's a Scorpion.
Where the women have mustaches.
Yeah. You get nervous. Sorry. We're running a tangent.
Yeah.
But a fun one.
So I think the whole concept today is there's more than just being healed of your strongholds, not only in your personal walk, but in the context of your commerce, whether you're an entrepreneur, you're a business owner, or in management, or an employee, just an excellent employee. All of these are great things and can be light in a dark place. But to do that, it's not just following status quo. You have to innovate. You have to bring something beautiful into that. So, in other words, God has a big vision, but He gives each of us a vision, and that vision will line up with others.
Yeah.
And so, if you're not in the right place, it may take a little while to help Him move you from that. But if you are, then there's a way through this, rather than just the difficulties of work, or being at odds with the boss, or struggling with clients. Sometimes you got to fire your clients. So all that said, that's just some context about your vision is important. So don't ignore it. But what is vision? Well, it's a sliver, or a part, or a glimpse of God's viewpoint for your life. And if you step into that, he'll give you another piece. And so it's not labor, it's yielding. It's letting go of your own will. You're kind of trading your will for the desires of your heart. You can't have both. And Jesus demonstrated that in the garden when he let go of his own will. But God gave him the desires of his heart, which first thing was please my Father. The second thing was carry out his mission.
Yeah, and he did it.
He did it.
You know,
he's our model.
Sure, and I love this. I love this concept of you have a vision for your life. So do I.
Yeah.
So does he.
Absolutely.
And so it's this balance of pride and humility. And I think the jacked up version of this is narcissism and worthlessness. People pendulum to my vision is the vision and you must comply to my vision.
Yeah.
Or I don't matter or my life doesn't matter. I'm nobody.
Yeah.
And there's a healthy.
Right. Well, and all of it's selfish. Any of that, either side of that. One is grandiose and the other is pathetic. And that's not God's intention for our lives. But when you just know that your life matters to other people, like there's something missing from their life, they have a vision, and a lot of people don't even know they do, but even your vision may stimulate theirs.
Theirs, right.
And so it's really, really important. Here's another way to look at this, and it's kind of, what does a seed do? So you got to start somewhere.
Okay.
What does a seed do? Now that could be a long answer, but what's the first thing it does?
It is a seed.
That's right. It just sits there.
Yeah.
It sits in a hole.
Yeah.
You press it. You drop it. You make a hole and you drop one in. Right.
Yeah.
What's it doing?
Resting.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And
yes.
Yeah.
Matt for 100.
Yeah. 101. Give you that extra. So here's yesterday's text. It says, "Are you willing to be still?" Now, again, think about this, doing some of this before you go to your workplace or your job or your company or when you're engaging. You want to build out this joyful foundation and faithful place that you can operate from heaven into the earth. So it's not just pie in the sky. It's truly how you live out like Jesus. As he would in your business. But this says, are you willing to be still? And a lot of people go, oh, I'm not good at that. And so they automatically you're done, right?
Cut it off.
Yeah, or that's like someone saying, I'm just a Martha. Well, you keep on being that. You don't have to be, though, but prophesying that of your life. Are you willing to be still? Contrary to popular belief, God doesn't help those who first help themselves. I've heard people argue that this is scripture. It's not. He helps those who listen intently and bravely follow his lead. You take that in. So remember in all your doing, quote unquote, doing, that obedience actually begins with listening. Mary over Martha, remember that. And listening always begins with rest.
Yeah.
So you want to listen, you want to be obedient, you have to learn how to listen.
Yes.
Because you have to understand what he's saying to you, and you have to give it time. The only way to listen is to sit still.
Yeah.
And Mary gave us that good example over Martha. God did not condemn Martha. It's like not condemning, the church mindset. They mean well.
Yeah.
But there's more.
Mary's chosen the better thing.
That's right.
Yeah.
And what else? It will never be taken
from her.
That means it's permanent. That means it's eternal.
Yeah.
That means it's the better way.
Yeah.
So Jesus was trying to encourage Martha, not condemn her, by showing the example that Mary's given of just sitting and resting. Like Jesus wanting to wash Peter's feet and him going, no! But then he goes, oh, do it. So when you step into this, remember that he's going to do the heavy lifting.
Yeah.
It's not labor. That's why it's paradoxical to labor to enter his rest. He wants to give you rest. And he'll give you the seeds, but you got to be a seed. And that means, like if you get thrown in a well, I know when I was a kid, I'd be wanting to dig my way out, even though that's down or sideways, just all that energy, but patience and faithfulness waits for rain, and then just floats to the top. And that's wisdom.
Yeah.
That takes time. God doesn't just throw that in. You got to learn that. At least for us, Solomon may have been different.
Well, I think this is powerful. On Monday night, I meet with a group of guys. We go into the Word together, and we were talking about obedience as it's laid out in Hebrews. And it says Jesus learned obedience through suffering.
That's right.
And we've talked about that.
Yes.
If Jesus learned obedience through suffering, then what about for us?
Yeah.
A, we need to learn obedience.
Yeah.
B, it's going to take some suffering.
That's right.
But also, too, what we're tapping into today, obedience is not the list of rules that you follow for God.
That's right.
I have to get that out because so often, in fact, one of the guys at the study was going, I want to be more obedient. Well, learn to let go more.
That's
Learn to listen more.
We're following Jesus' model. We're not trying to emulate just good behavior. That's fruit. Good behavior comes from. Comes from being. A hungry heart. Jesus was sleeping in the boat. That is the ideal. And see, the world says, you can't do that, it's lazy. It's not lazy when God is leading you. It's not lazy at all. It's yielded. It's faithful. Jesus was incredibly faithful. He didn't do anything he did by magic wand and golden underwear and 2 feet off the ground. He didn't. He did it as a man or a human with perfect faith. That's our model, our benchmark. We follow that. So we sleep in the boat. What's that look like at work? That doesn't mean you put your feet up on the desk. It means that you rest your mind.
Yes.
You have no cares. Oh, I lost a client, or oh no, I'm not doing enough social media. Boss is on me. I had a boss for years say, get in debt. I was in sales. Get in debt so you'll sell more. I'm like, man, that's the wisest, stupidest thing I've ever heard. I did it for a while.
Yeah.
But that mentality needs to be unearthed.
Yeah.
It's not, because most people think it's right. But think of it this way. And last comment on this for me, but I did a whole lot in my own strength, and God let me do it for years and years, and I got rich. By the world standards, pretty well off guy. Had everything: real estate, money, and company, and great income. I could buy anything I wanted. I call it ghetto rich, but we lost it, and I mean every single avenue. It was very profound, and God told me to sit still, so don't try to build it back. And so I'd done all these years. So point is you can get on a treadmill and probably run a marathon if you go at it hard enough. You can do it. All right. What happens when you're done? You get your sticker on the car and you're all done. 6 months later, you can't do that again. You got to maintain that. So that's what God showed me. And now what he's building is, I'm not doing anything. I'm just following with everything I got. Think about getting on a treadmill and doing that, or the person who is incredibly designed to run. And I, this isn't about geography, but think about those folks like in hotter climates like Ethiopia who, man, these guys can just roll out of bed. Kenyans, they can just roll out of bed and run 50 miles at age 50. They just are wired this way. It's amazing. It's genius. But so what we want to do is we want to find our inner Kenyan or Ethiopian in that sense. It's a weird analogy, but you get it.
Yeah.
You don't need to get on a treadmill. You don't need to do that. You can do it, but you'll be settling for a rusty bicycle instead of a Harley. You're tripping over a $10 bill to get to a penny.
Yeah.
It's just not a good deal.
Yeah.
It's not about your effort and labor.
Yeah.
It's about his.
This is kind of, as you were talking about this is the kind of the wrap-up thought for me. His takeaway is that the line between lazy and faithfulness is the difference between God's perspective and man's perspective.
Yeah, exactly.
And what the world calls lazy, God calls faithful.
That's right.
And so you have to root your heart in absolute yielded surrenderedness to Him.
Yeah.
And no matter what the world says.
Yeah.
But that will always, and the only way it can bear the true fruit.
Yeah, and the thing that holds that in place is vision. Mm-hmm. With vision, you can stand your ground when people call you lazy.
Yeah.
But it's a good thing. Be patient.
I love
God will
it.
bring it.
It's like Nehemiah when they're coming to him and he's rebuilding
That's right.
the wall, and he's
Had a
like,
vision.
"Do not bother me with your pettiness." The
Yeah.
Lord my God has called me to this.
And the provision came.
Yes.
After the vision. So
Yeah.
yeah.
It's fantastic. Well, fantastic show today, Kev. As always, man, thanks for your time and willingness to pour out. We appreciate you guys tuning in and watching. Don't forget that the show is podcasted on iTunes and Spotify. You guys can connect there for old episodes. In addition to that, we do invite you guys to reach out if we can connect in any way to walk with you in regards to one-to-one services, the Portable Faith community. If you have an organization you want us to come in and be a part of helping develop your employees or a culture. I mean, we do all of this stuff is things that we can help you with. Would love to. We appreciate you guys. Again, Matt and Kevin signing off. We'll see you next week.